Let's touch on Bitcoin versus Ethereum, because we had Tom Lee on a few weeks ago, and
Yes.
he's a bull on Bitcoin, but he's
Yes.
even bigger bull on Ethereum. He thinks will surpass the size of Bitcoin. Why is he wrong on that? Why is Bitcoin always going to be bigger than Ethereum?
So Bitcoin serves three roles. And yes, and we would differ with
I know you
Tom.
get on very well with Tom.
And we
Is that-
do,
yeah.
we do,
And
we
you buy
do.
Bitmine.
Yes, yes. So the three roles, Bitcoin, as I mentioned, is the global monetary system, rules-based, quantity rule to be sure. And that alone is a very big idea. It is also a technology. So layer one, blockchain technology, never been hacked. The other blockchains cannot say that, right? And so that's why the monetary system is based on it. And it is the first of its kind in a new asset class. We wrote our first white paper on that in 2016. So a new asset class. So it's got three very important attributes to it. I do think that Ethereum is playing a very important role, and therefore Ether, the native currency, in the DeFi ecosystem. A lot of the fees are going to the layer twos. Robinhood, for example, announced that it was going to start its own layer two, like Coinbase has. It's called Base. They get a disproportionate amount of the fees. Now, the question is, are there going to be so many layer twos out there that they're going to start competing against one another and confer more importance to the layer one? That is a possibility, and that is why we're invested in Ether, and we do think it powers the DeFi world. But I think these competing interests are maybe something that Tom and I can debate a little bit.
And they're always great debates
Yes.
when you have them. And
Very friendly.
And I know you're a buyer of Bitmine, the
And
company
Bitmine,
he's
absolutely.
a chair of. What about, is there a long list of other cryptocurrencies that you believe in, or is it actually a handful only?
It's really only a handful so far.
Which are the other ones?
Well, of course, we've got Bitcoin. Now, in our public funds, these trades are public, so I can tell you our exposures are Bitcoin, Ether. We're finally able to get an acceptable, from a regulator's point of view, way to play Ether, and we chose Bitmine immersion. And in the and then Solana is the third one, and we can talk about that as well in terms of its role. That one is through, well, it's Brera Sports, and everybody thinks I or ARC just bought a bunch of sports teams, which we did not. This is the company into which Soulmate is a Solana treasury is being folded and supported by the UAE, Middle Eastern, and my mentor, our advisor, and my friend Art Laffer is on the board of that one. So that's been very interesting. So those are the big three. Hyperliquid is the new kid on the block, and we're waiting to see how that all plays out. It's exciting. It reminds me of Solana in the earlier days, and Solana has proven its worth and is there with the big boys. So those we think are, and then of course there are other services, Aave, like money market fund, and Uniswap, and a few like that, Jito, which is related to the Solana ecosystem. So we will play certain derivatives, but if you're talking about the big boys or girls, those are the big three right now.
And because we're nearly out of time, I just wanted to come to get your view in the end on gold, because it's actually a really interesting day for us to ask this question. Gold and silver are up significantly. Of course, we're recording this on Monday this week. And Bitcoin and Ethereum 45 minutes ago when we started the conversation were down quite sharply. And it's not often that we've seen those two trade in that same way on the same day. Do you think the argument for gold is sort of stronger than ever I mean, clearly the performance has been very strong this year. Where do you stand on it relative to Bitcoin?
Well, we don't own it, and we're not saying it's going to be a bad investment either. It's just not what we do, technologically enabled disruptive innovation. But with my economics hat on, I always take the performance of gold seriously. Typically, it is a harbinger of inflation. I don't think that's the case this time. We monitor something called the metals to gold index, so metal prices to gold prices. That has dropped below 08-09 levels, and it's got me actually worried about, okay, what is going on out there? It could be related to China, and they're still going through a deflationary unwind of the property speculation there. I think what's happening with gold this time around is geopolitical risk. And you'll notice on Friday night, all of the chaos around B1 visas, right? And I think that uncertainty, it's like, oh my gosh, all of the, the foreign students, from India and China and their parents and everything, looking at this saying, what is going on? And personally, I think it's just a negotiation with India that's going on, and this will all be fine because we don't want to lose the best and the brightest from anywhere around the world, despite what you hear, the rhetoric you hear right now. So I think that's all going to change. But it doesn't matter. The headlines are blaring, and people are saying, okay, what do I do? And, people with a lot of wealth, so maybe older generation, are maybe, shifting some into gold. They're not probably putting it into the digital asset world.